What the hell are you staring at? I'm staring at a worthless private dick who is a duck. What is up with the Balenciaga crap? Seriously, folks, have you noticed on YouTube? Somebody's been doing some Balenciaga videos, and right now I just watched Seinfeld Balenciaga, and I just seen Matrix Balenciaga, Mass Effect Balenciaga. People have been doing a lot of videos of all sorts of franchise getting involved with Balenciaga. Now, I've heard, thanks to my mom, she told me about Balenciaga, about the whole scandal involving child porn and, of course, bondage. But I think they're being pretty desperate on doing those Balenciaga videos where they're comparing with shows getting involved with Balenciaga. And I think they're silly. They're really silly. But anyway, enough with the Balenciaga stuff. Let's get down to our review for the day. Now, speaking of Seinfeld, that's one thing I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about an adult cartoon series. Now, what kind of character do you get if you combine George Costanza and Daffy Duck? Give up? You're going to get Duckman. Now, what can I say about Duckman? Actually, what can I say about Duckman? It's exactly how I describe Duckman to be. If George Costanza was Daffy Duck combined. Because everybody knows, me being a die-hard Looney Tune fan, everybody knows that Daffy Duck is arrogant, self-centered, cocky, and full of himself, and of course, kind of a ladies' man, because every time when he sees a hot girl, he's like, hello there, beautiful. Now, combine Daffy Duck with George Costanza from Seinfeld, and put them all together, you have Duckman. And now, not many people know that it was created by Everett Peck. Everett Peck created Duckman, and it all started from a comic book, which you can get a graphic novel if you want to read about him. But since people were so interested in Duckman so much that they decided that the USA Channel decided to do a TV series of Duckman. Now, the reason why I'm kind of comparing Duckman from Daffy Duck and George Costanza, well, believe it or not, reason why I think of George Costanza as Duckman is because he is voiced by Jason Alexander. Except this time he ain't being like, Serenity now! You know what, I think I should review Seinfeld one of these days, because Seinfeld is not a bad show. Although what is the deal with Duckman? He is a man, and he's also a duck, but why is he called Duckman? Sounds like a name for a superhero. Know what I mean? Hello, Newman. Hello, Jerry. Oh, yeah! I'm out there, Jerry, and I'm loving every minute of it. Kramer always been my favorite. But anyway, enough with the Seinfeld. Let's get to Duckman. Now, the reason why you see me wearing this hat and this Batman shirt is because I'm reviewing something that is mystery, but Duckman is not much of a mystery, because the reason why is because Duckman is a private detective. But the problem is, if he's a private detective, how in the hell does he become a private detective? He doesn't think like one. He is so greedy, selfish, self-centered, think of himself as superior than others. And he couldn't, he couldn't even figure things out, even in a murder. And of course, if the murderer turns out to be a hot woman, he will never think of her as the murderer. He'll just think of her as the victim. And of course, Duckman has two catchphrases. And some of you probably have heard them. He always says, "What the hell are you staring at?" And of course, when he sees a beautiful woman, We're having a stormy day today, folks. But anyway, every time when people stares at him, he's like, "What the hell are you staring at?" And of course, when there's a hot woman there, he goes like, "Hamana, hamana, how, wah." But of course, he's not all that, he's not alone in the series, because he does have a partner who is a lot smarter than he is, and sometimes he does break the fourth wall more than Duckman does. And he goes by the name of Corn-Fed Pig. Now, Corn-Fed Pig, you can tell by the way he talks a lot like Jack Webb from Dragnet. This is a city, Los Angeles, California. Some people steal others for pleasure. Some steal it because it's there. You never know. My name is Friday. I'm a cop. I carry a badge. Dragnet! And of course, the actor who does the voice of Corn-Fed is, of course, by Greg Berger, who is a really great voice actor, and I love hearing him doing his Corn-Fed talk. I mean, I even remember when he said, "Could this Shella LeBlanc be the right woman for him? And what does she see in Duckman? And how much wood did a woodchuck chuck and a woodchuck could chuck wood?" And of course, believe it or not, Duckman has a backstory. Turns out that that Duckman fell in love with a duck girl named Beatrice. Beatrice was his first love, and somehow she died without even any answers like how she died and what happened. So, after the death of his wife, he lives in his own home with Beatrice's twin sister, who hates Duckman's guts so much. She's athletic, she has an attitude, and always likes to scream at him. And her name is Bernice. And she is voiced by the lovely Nancy Travis. Now, some of you probably remember her from the Last Man Standing series, and also So I Married an Axe-Murderer. What? Anybody never even heard that movie? Anyway, but he does have sons. He has the one who talks like his mind is in a different world. His name is Ajax. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but Duckman does love him. And he also has two sons, which actually they are two-headed sons, named Charles and Mambo, which they are pretty smart kids, but they have different opinions on their theories. And they also have a grandmother who sits in the chair all day, never talks, and only communicates by farting. So, every time when she's trying to say something to people, she just goes like, that's it. And they also have a dog who goes by the name of Gecko. And even Duckman has sort of secretary characters called Fuzzy and Uranus. But they are like the Kenny characters. Because if you notice from every single episode of Duckman always get pissed off by Fuzzy and Uranus. I think I got one of the talking bears' name right. But anyway, he kills them in different and brutal ways. I mean, they're like the Kenny of the series. Oh my god! They killed Kenny! You buzzards! Screw you guys, I'm going home. But of course, in this show, it's, oh my god! Duckman killed Fuzzy and Uranus! You buzzard! What the hell are you staring at? And believe it or not, Duckman always have an arch nemesis, and it is King Chicken, voiced by ever so talented Tim Curry. Yes, I always play Duckman. Buck, 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 buck. So, pretty much, Duckman and King Chicken, they're rivals. And of course, it's kind of funny that our hero is a duck and his arch nemesis is a chicken. And every time King Chicken tries to foil and destroy Duckman, at the end, they always backfire by the help of his sister-in-law, Bernice, and even Cornfed. Although, here's one thing you should know. Bernice turns out that she has a huge crush on King Chicken. And Chicken has a huge crush on Bernice. So even though it pains her to ruin his plan, but deep down inside she still loves him. And he still loves her. And of course there were a lot of political stuff going on. Like there is a show about funny comedians who are raunchy and crude. And some of them are a parody of Andrew Dice Clay, Roseanne, Tom Arnold, and George Carlin, and among other comedians that we all knew and grew up with. And he does make a big speech about comedy can be whatever you want it to be. Just make sure that it doesn't offend. I mean, they have done comedies that does offend people, but sometimes comedy is something that we can make of. Like, take it from me, for example. I mean, I'm kind of a comedian, but most of my jokes are either impressions with pop cultural and even something that is part of something that is historic that not many people don't even know of. So, pretty much my sense of humor is always impressions and pop cultural reference. So, anyway, Duckman has gone through a lot of adventures throughout the series, and the series only lasted from season 1 all the way to season 4. And then in the later series, one time, Duckman met a new girl in his life who goes by the name of Angela. But, much of his surprise, he only met her on one of those 100 talk dirty numbers. But he likes her voice, so he asks her out on a date, and then here's the big shock of all. Angela is ugly. And he talked her into go to a doctor to have a facelift. And when she did that, now Angela is beautiful. And now everybody automatically wants to put Angela, making her into a model. I mean, appear in beautiful magazines and everything. And Duckman thought that it was too much for him to handle. I mean, having a beautiful woman is one thing, but have a woman that is so beautiful that pretty much captured the attention to photographers and modeling agents and such, that even Duckman, even though he is a lech, womanizer, and a real man-sleaze, he wanted to end the relationship with her. So, pretty much, he didn't take advantage of her or anything. He just, even at the end of the episode, turns out that she was calling him, but he didn't answer. He just let it ring. And of course, she does come back, but now she's kind of happy that he never answered her phone. So now she's going on with her own life. I have to say, there are tons of smart adult animated cartoons and shows in our lives. Like there is Horseman Django on Netflix. And of course, you could easily find Rick and Morty on Hulu. So, pretty much, they were sort of the inspiration to Duckman. So, let's just say that even though some of you have never heard of Duckman, it was because Duckman was ahead of its time. But having it voiced by Jason Alexander, I mean, and it's animated by people who did the Thornberrys and all the other animation movies and series, even CGI ones too. And then in the later series, that's where things starts changing a bit. When it turns out that Duckman met another duck girl who looks remarkably like his wife, and he thought that was Beatrice, until Bernice spotted her and figured out that that's Beverly. Turns out that Bernice and Beatrice had another sister, so they're triplets, named Beverly. And then all of a sudden, King Chicken had a wife who goes by the name of Honey Chicken. And then almost in the final episode, they finally confess their love. It turns out that Corn-Fed is in love with Beverly. And of course, King Chicken confesses his love to Bernice. And of course, Duckman falls in love with Honey Chicken. So at the end of the series, this was a big shock and a spoiler for those of you who never seen the series. So if any of you ever watch the series, want to see the series, stop this video and just look it up, because you can easily find Duckman on YouTube. But you better find it now before YouTube decided to remove it. So how it's going to end is like this. When Duckman and Honey Chicken, King Chicken, and Bernice, Corn-Fed, and Beverly, they were all being married, and when the priest said, "Speak now or forever hold your peace," boom. Turns out Beatrice returned. She came through the door, and Duckman was like, "Beatrice, you're alive?" And Beatrice said, "What, did Corn-Fed not tell you?" And Duckman stared at Corn-Fed, and Corn-Fed was like, it's kind of hard for me to explain. And then there was a big to be continue. And then, that was it. Because the guys wanted to end the series, so they ended with a huge cliffhanger, which would never be solved. Even some of the fans asked the creators what should happen and all. And they just mess with them, telling them what should happen and what's going to happen, but it's not even a satisfied answer. They just wanted to end the series with a big, questionable joke. Like, what would happen? Did Duckman go back to Beatrice and left Honey Chicken? And would he hate Corn-Fed so much for not telling him that Beatrice was alive? We'll never know. And that is Duckman for you. So, for any of you who enjoyed my review, any of you have ever enjoyed my review of Duckman, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more. And I'm probably going to get back on the science fiction, because even though I got done with my Cluedo series, I feel like going back to my science fiction, because there's a few science fiction series I want to talk about soon. So I'm the multi-voice reviewer. I remember so I can jog your memory. Oh yeah, one more thing I'm going to tell you. What the hell are you staring at?